The Ram Temple in Uttar Pradesh's Ayodhya was inaugurated on Monday in a ceremony led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
It reminded me of a film called Godfather, where Al Pacino, when he finishes all the mafia groups, and then he sits on the chair, and then people come one by one and kiss his hand.
Okay.
So he is the Don now.
CSDS had put up this some data which said that when Hindus were asked in 2016 who they pray to, Shiva was I think number 1, Durga was number 2 at 10, and Ram Ganesh were at 4%, implying that things have really changed, that he wasn't a deity who was really prayed to. But
you cannot judge where a person derives their inspiration or whatever they need internally to stand them or face a situation or just stand to do what they think is right.
Our greatest Shahnai player, Bismillah Khan, right there in that very city, played his Shahnai at the temple, at the Shiv temple. और आपने हमको ना इन्विटेशन ही नहीं भेजा भैया तुमने तो, बल्कि तुमने उल्टा ये इम्प्रेशन ये है कि वो हमारे खिलाफ है. कौन हमारे खिलाफ है? मोतिया हिराए गई रामा हमने गाया है.
And Nitish, I don't know, there's gossip that he's now cozying up to Modi, so I don't know what that is, but yeah.
No, I think Nitish doesn't cozy up to anyone, he just distances himself from someone.
That's a good way of putting it. I'm not cozying up, I'm now distancing myself. The current Muslim political leadership, what should their response be to this?
There is no such thing. There is no such thing as a Muslim. A Muslim leadership does not exist. It never did exist. In a democratic framework, to ask for a Muslim leadership is a contradiction in terms.
Absolutely.
If I am a Muslim leader, you, Manisha, will have to stand behind me.
Welcome to Chota Hafta. Now, Chota Hafta is but a small, Chota version of a complete weekly podcast, Newslaundry Hafta. The Newslaundry Hafta is where you get the week's news, what made the headlines, what didn't make the headlines, but the full version is available to subscribers only. And I don't mean YouTube subscribers, although YouTube subscribers are also very welcome, we're very grateful to you, but also to Newslaundry subscribers, the paying subscribers who pay to keep news free. So you can also become a paying subscriber by clicking the subscription link. Now what do you get if you're a paying subscriber? You get access to all our paywall content, all interviews, podcasts, and importantly, you get access to a full unedited Hafta, where you not only get to hear the week's news, but you get to hear the Newslaundry editors' positions on matters. You get to see their biases, what are their prejudices. It's an exercise in transparency while also informing you, and we have a few quips and jokes and agreements and disagreements thrown in. So listen to the full Hafta, subscribe to Newslaundry, and pay to keep news free. Here we go.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. I'm your host Manisha Pande. It's been a very momentous week. There's a lot to discuss: politics, culture, religion, society. We have with us Shardool, who's back with us after how many months?
5 months give or take.
5 months की छुट्टी के बाद.
No, not chutti, but let me just say, you should
Sabbatical.
sometimes you have to bury the pumpkins to turn them orange.
My God. And that's Anand, who's curious about this practice of burying pumpkins to make them turn orange. He's like, ye kahan hota hai bhai? Welcome, Anand. We have with us Raman Kirpal.
Hi.
And joining us on Zoom is Saeed Naqvi. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Of course, you guys know him. I think have heard of him, read his books, read his pieces, or seen him on television. He's a senior Indian journalist. He's also the author of Being the Other, the Muslim in India. I think this week, the big story, of course, was the Ram Temple ceremony that happened on January 22nd. Irrespective of where you stand on the ideological divide, it is a historic day. I think it's going to be talked about, remembered, noted, analyzed for a very long time. And there are different reasons why people have celebrated this. Of course, political reasons, but also I think personal reasons. The significance of Ram as a deity for the Hindus.
It was made, the temple has been constructed after Supreme Court. I don't feel any joy because the specific temple has come up. But the moment Pran Pratishtha happened, according to me or anybody who understands a bit of actual what Hindu faith or this culture is, it is not BJP's temple, it is Ram's temple. And for all intensive purposes, every form of him stands with truth rather than charlatans. And we'll come to that anyway in later.
So I think that is one important aspect of understanding the celebrations. A lot of people are basically celebrating Ram.
And standing with
maybe
truth.
not really looking at the politics of what had happened. But so I want to come to Saeed ji. You have covered the entire movement as a journalist. You were in Ayodhya. Were you in Ayodhya when the Babri Masjid was demolished? You were there.
Yes.
I want to understand firstly at a personal level, as somebody who's seen this, reported on it, who knows that the temple has come up after a lot of strife.
Let me tell you something. I was actually pained. I was hurt. I felt deliberately alienated about something which has been part of one's life. Don't forget, I am from the area called Awadh. My home village is Mustafabad in Raebareli. I grew up in a place called Lucknow, which was once the city of Wajid Ali Shah, now the city of Yogi Adityanath. So there's been some transition that I have seen. The event in Ayodhya, which again the history, I think people do not know that it is from there that the Nawabs came to Lucknow and set up Lucknow as the center of their kingdom. Anyway, it stimulated in me a kind of nostalgia. I felt completely alienated, as if the effort was that this party is not for you. It was being hurled at me. And
Anand, come in. So alienation, what it means for Hindu society at large and what it means for the politics of the country, of course. There's been a lot of op-eds written on this hard U-turn or hard moving away from, Nehruvian consensus on secularism, state and religion. Your take on that? Well, you can begin with your personal impressions on the celebrations you saw and what you make of that if you want. And then the cultural aspect of it, the religious aspect of it and the politics of it, basically.
I think generally the commentary on the event, there was a lack of analytical tools in the Western commentary of how to, decipher the event. And they broadly saw it through their own prism, their own value system, and their own history. And the Indian commentariat, which have borrowed ideas from that ecosystem, also saw it through that prism. The mass response to it was largely organic, and it to an extent it could have political context, but a lot of upsurge was organic. I see it like this, the event tugged at civilizational memory. And that memory precedes India's constitutional patriotism.
I see very little religion into the entire movement. I see more the politics of it. So this is my reading of it. And yes, it has alienated people. And the Hindu society, like in the past, was not just the Hindus, the rest of the people also from other religions. But now, the way it has been projected and like Anand said that it is organic, I don't see that it was so much organic. I think it was very well planned. Like I happened to see in Delhi and I happened to see in Bombay also, the kind of flags, how the flags came up in each nukkad and in each shop, and the guys who were planting those flags, they were not the common people, they were VHPs. They were, organized RSS. So, and I also saw the shakas. I also saw the morning groups who go out for a walk, and how these people came up with Bhagwa clothes and all who gave these clothes to them. So it was very well organized, event which had pure political intentions in 2024 when the Lok Sabha elections are due.
So I think that for sure, I think the outdoor campaigning is probably organized RSS, VHP, BJP. But I do agree with one point that Anand makes that. So for example, in my social media, a lot of my friends who are not journalists or who are not at all interested in politics shared Ram ka picture or shared a diya. So I think there was a lot of that also. A lot of people who possibly don't care much about the politics of it. I mean, Babri is too far gone, so they're not even, that kind of in tune with what had happened. I think a lot of them were just sharing this, Ram ka temple, a Ram ka image or a Diwali ka, and they weren't even saying like Jai Shri Ram or none of the political sloganing. It was just sharing an image of Ram, which I think they just are doing because they're just people who believe in religion.
What you are saying, that, people's astha was touched and they exchanged little diyas on the etc., etc. You give me saturation coverage of the entire media space. I will transform people overnight. That is the magic of the complete and total control of the media.
The event, in my opinion, was problematic. Not problematic, but political. Because when I call it problematic,
I mean, of course, it's political. If there's the
it's
Prime Minister and the Chief Minister and RSS Chief is there. So
I will not call it problematic because people interpret it in their own manner, right? According to their faith, or maybe they're just there because they have a faith in Ram, or they've been there, they have not been in part of politics, or they have a business there. Like we saw how media companies increase their ad rates. So everyone is just trying to cash in. And this is a political event. I'll tell you why. This is a project for election. There is no doubt about it. Because otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. This was sort of brought forward. And Mr. Modi ka jo Mahima Mandan ho raha hai, in my opinion, this would be bad. Because this is sort of a fulcrum, and I agree that they may have taken a big lead in these elections. But this is something like this sort of invites challenges, cultural challenges, which he is not ready for.
I think it had to come. If it not BJP, VHP, we would have to invent it in some way. Some group would have invented.
It would have been inevitable.
So this cycle had to come in my sense of inevitability.
What next?
I think second, now the politics of it. I think that what we are seeing as a politicization of an electoral campaign through this event is what is an ideological victory for BJP. So when other parties said that he is politicizing it, but he is not taking it as negatively. He meant that I will politicize it.
The Mandir was opened day before yesterday, and today, if you know, the lead story is Karpoori
Thakur, which is our next.
Bharat Ratna. तो ये खेल चल रहा है और मीडिया जब तक कंट्रोल में है ये चलता रहेगा हम और आप यहाँ बातें करेंगे इसकी कोई मानी नहीं है.
Okay, so Bharat Ratna is going to be awarded to Karpoori Thakur. Congress is saying it's desperation and Modi government's hypocrisy. And this is also happening at a time where India alliance seems to be a bit shaky. Anand, please first give us a very short primer for our listeners who may not know who he is, his importance to Bihar politics. And what does this award mean?
Karpoori Thakur was a Lohiite leader. So that in the 70s, he was a 2-term chief minister in Bihar. One very short term, but and he is seen as pioneer of many ideas that came into socialist politics and the affirmative politics of India later. In Bihar also, the voter base of BJP, of course, the vote multiplier along with the upper caste is the OBC. It has a foothold in OBC vote bank and also the Mahadalit vote bank. And so it is not a big deal that it is the party is trying to send some symbolic message through this award, and it has been a demand of RJD and JDU for years that he should be given Bharat Ratna. So even if it brings, I don't think these symbolic gestures bring much votes, which who is going to communicate it to, but or if the voting class gives such prominence to such non-tangible factors as one of their leaders getting an award. But
बस मुफ्त में इतना ही मिलेगा. For the full uncut podcast, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free. The best way to listen to the Hafta and indeed all our podcasts is through the Newslaundry app. You can download the app by clicking on the links given in the show notes. So do download our app and get the best podcast experience. And also pay for news and support a new news media ecosystem that Newslaundry is trying to encourage, where we are accountable to you because we run on contributions that you make. We don't take government ads, we don't take corporations ads, so that news serves the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Subscribe to Newslaundry, click on the link in the show notes below and proudly say, I pay to keep news free.